welcome back to Paradise Lost in Books. I'm Christy, and today we are going to be talking about The Heir by Kiera Cass. This is the fourth book in the selection series, and I have a lot of feelings about this book. I can't really say anything about it without spoiling anything from the selection. It is America and Maxon's daughter, Edelyn, which I don't count that as a spoiler because it's like right there on the back of the book. So yeah, but that's pretty much all I can say. Their daughter, Edelyn, has her own selection to find a prince. So that's about it. If you don't want to be spoiled, you need to leave. I'll link my other book talks to the other selection books down below. Go get caught up and come back and listen to me rant about this little bitch in this book. It'll be great. All right, well, let's start with the things I did like, because it's always good to start off on a positive note, right? First of all, I like the idea of seeing the selection from the selector's point of view. I like that we're getting to see what it's like to be the person doing the selecting and the unique pressures and conflicts that come with that. I also really like that when we start, we learn that the castes have been phased out and the caste system is no more, which I think is great. I do wish that we had a little bit more of the in-between. I wish there was some kind of short novella that kind of told us more about how that happened, what life was like before the kids, you know, how America and Maxon got everything going, the challenges they faced. But, you know, maybe Kiera Cass will do that. It would be nice. But yeah, no more castes. That's cool. I just love their family so much. I love Maxon as a dad. I think that you can tell he really learned a lot from his relationship with his dad because he really makes an effort to include Edelyn and ask her opinion, treat her like her opinion matters, and make her feel like she is important and that, you know, he trusts her to do the job. So I think that's really cool. I also really like her siblings. A lot of people have really weird spelled names in this book. Like, I don't get it. We've got Aaron, A-H-R-E-N. We've got Kyle, K-I-L-E. And there's a few other ones too. I don't know. What is this? Anyways, I like her brothers. Aaron is the perfect twin for her. He's logical and composed, where she is crazy and not logical at all. But he balances her out really nicely, so I enjoyed reading about him. And, you know, they have a few really cute sibling bonding moments, which was nice to see. They really support each other, even though they're different in a lot of ways, and that's really nice. I also love getting to see May as an adult. She's just so adorable and cute, and I loved that. Also, there's a new character introduced, Lady Bryce. I'm kind of questioning if we know her from somewhere before. She just seems really familiar, and just a few things that were said about her make me feel like Maxon and America knew her before. I was kind of wondering if she could be Chris, but that wouldn't really make sense because Chris doesn't have any reason to be hiding. Like, the rebels got what they wanted, and she wasn't a Southern rebel, so there's no reason for her to disguise her. I don't know. I don't know what I think, but she definitely is more important than we realize. I also really liked the dates in this book a lot better. Even though there weren't as many dates, I did like the different variety that we got to see, and I just thought they were really cute. Like, the cooking group date was super adorable. The baseball date was so much fun. She was at her most likable, honestly, during these dates because she, at times, would actually let people in. The baseball date was really fun, where she was just actually having a good time and not worrying about what other people thought and not worrying about putting on a certain front. The cooking date was fun until what's-his-face, Burke, or whatever, ruined it. I'll get to that later. But yeah, I just thought there was a nice variety of dates. There were movies and dessert dinners and things like that, and I just thought it was really fun. It was nice to see different types of dates other than just the typical stuff that Maxon did, like walks in the garden and horseback riding and stuff like that. Even though there was a little of that, it wasn't as much the focus as it was in the selection. I also really liked the boys. I felt like they had more personality than the girls of Maxon's selection, and more of them stuck out to me. Obviously, some of those were for bad reasons, but, you know, that's okay. But the ones who stuck out for good reasons, they just had very interesting personalities, and I felt like, you know, Fox and Henry and even Kyle and Hale, I just thought that they all had wonderful, fun personalities. It was really cool to get to know them, and I thought they were so much more interesting than the girls of the selection. So the only girl from the selection that really stood out to me were Celeste and Marley. You know, even in the elite, like I didn't really care that much about Celeste until the one, and I never really gave much of a crap about Natalie and Elise. So, you know, I thought it was really cool to see these guys that were very likable, especially when Edelyn wasn't. One of my favorite scenes is when her brother Caden tells her that being queen is just a job. I was like, shit, put her right in her place. Like, holy crap. That is just so perfect, because I'll get to this more in my dislikes, but Edelyn acts like being queen is somewhere between the ultimate blessing and the ultimate curse. Like, there can't be anyone more stressed out than her. There can't be anyone that has as much power as her. And she just, you know, gets so caught up in that. And her brother is like, it's just a job, dude. You're not any better than anyone else. And that's fantastic. I freaking love that. I loved her kiss with Henry so much. Henry is the most adorable little cinnamon roll, and I just want to squeeze him because he's so cute. He is so cute, and I just, she does not deserve him. I started the book thinking she was going to end up with Kyle, and I was like, oh, cool, it's going to be that predictable thing where she ends up with the, you know, son of her mother's best friend or whatever, but she really seems to care about Henry. He's the only one that she kissed besides Kyle outright, and the Kyle one was fake except for the moments they sneak off or whatever, but she just really seemed to care about Henry in that moment. It was such a likable moment for her. It just felt very real and very emotional, and it was one of my favorite moments in the book. I love her brother's girlfriend, Camille from France. She's really cute, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the ending, even though I haven't talked about my dislikes. But one of my other favorite scenes was where she was like, oh, you need to break up with your girlfriend because I don't know how to be without you, and I can't imagine you leaving me, and I'm selfish. And he's like, you want me to choose? Bye. And he runs away with his girlfriend and marries her and just leaves her ass behind. It's so freaking hilarious. And then he writes this beautiful, heartfelt letter to her explaining all these things that she really needs to understand about herself. And her initial reaction is, he left me. And I'm like, child, did you not just read this letter? Like, what the hell? So with that, I'm going to transition into my dislikes because Edelyn's annoyingness is coming up more and more, and we need to talk about it. Edelyn is the most unlikable protagonist I have ever read. I am all for unlikable characters. I am all for character development, but you shouldn't have to make your character so unlikable that reading the book is painful. There were some days where I dreaded listening to this audiobook on the way to work more than I actually dreaded going to work. So, yeah, it was painful. And, you know, the likable moments kind of made up for it, but it was just very frustrating, and I'm gonna be really mad if there's not some significant changes to her character in the next book, because I cannot handle another book of her being like this. Like, honestly, my parents would have beat my ass if I treated them the way that Edelyn treats anyone, but especially her parents. She tells them that they're ruining her life, you know, when they're trying to help her and give her her own selection, and they even bargain with her and make it not really the way the selection used to be. She yells at them to get out of her room. Who does that? You don't talk to your parents like that. You just don't do that. It's not okay. She's judgmental. She makes a comment about how she would never settle for a guard and how that's gross. And she disparages like the looks and behaviors of 3 other princes that her mom talks about, and just makes her look very snotty. She has this nasty attitude and doesn't understand why her people threw food at her in the parade. Like, do some introspection here, sweetie. Like, it's important to be self-aware and to think about yourself and not just whine all the time. And also the mass dismissal. The fact that she had the audacity to compare her mass dismissal to what her father did with, when Maxon dismissed, I think it was 6 girls at the beginning of his selection, he did it privately. He did it respectfully. We haven't seen that conversation that he had with them behind closed doors, but I imagine that Maxon told them individually, like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I just didn't feel that connection and I don't want to waste your time. He didn't do it in front of everyone. He wasn't like, you, bye, go. Shooing people away, just not even giving them the time of day, humiliating them, calling them out.
Your Highness, it is time for you to choose your bride.
Alrighty. Trot out the ladies. Let's take a look-see. Hate your hair. Not likely. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And let me guess, you have a great personality.
That whole scene just made me so mad. I had to turn it off, for the rest of my drive after that scene. I was just like, I can't. Why would anyone think it's okay to act this way? Like, she was so rude to them. I can't. And in some ways, she's kind of like America. America wasn't as bad as Edelyn during her selection, but she doesn't talk to anyone. A lot of Edelyn's problems are that she's, like America, making assumptions. She jumps to conclusions and just assumes that she knows best and that she knows what's going on. Whereas if she would just talk to maybe her dad, who's been through a selection, or, get to know some of the boys instead of just assuming things about them, things would go a lot more smoothly for her. I mean, there's plenty of other things that she does in this book that are ridiculous. The setup kiss with Kyle was lame. Even it made their romantic moments later feel cheap, and I didn't really feel it as much. Though I did like getting to know Kyle. He's a really cool guy, and even though I feel like it'd be a little tropey, I won't be that upset if she ends up with him. And a lot of the guys who were dislikable were almost caricatures of the worst qualities that men are said to have. And I'm not really sure how I felt about that. Like the Jack guy who got really pushy with her and, was really touchy, and we didn't really see where that was going to go. I don't know if it was going to be an assault kind of situation or something worse, but he was definitely overstepping his bounds. Burke, who flew into a temper tantrum over literally nothing, like the stupidest thing, and started beating the crap out of Fox. Baden getting all butthurt that she wasn't making enough time for him. I understand people getting upset about those things, but the way that the guys acted so extremely just felt kind of ridiculous and overplayed. Like, I couldn't quite believe what was happening. It was very extreme. The last thing I'm going to say is I really hated the way this book ended. I loved the whole thing with Aaron and Camille. I thought that was fantastic. And the letter that he wrote her was just like, look, Edelyn, this is why your people don't like you, because you're self-centered, you're rude, you're judgmental, and I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings, and all that. Like, that was great. But then America having a heart attack, what the heck? She's only like her late 30s, early 40s maybe. I don't know if I'm mathing that correctly, but she's not that old. And I mean, I know that heart problems run in her family with her dad and all that, but I'm just like, it just felt cheap. It felt like a cheap trick to keep us hooked for the next book, because God knows Edelyn wasn't enough to keep me interesting. So I guess the author just thought she had to pull something to make us want to come back and read the next book. Overall, I'd give this book a 2.5 out of 5. There were some really lovable moments in it that kind of salvaged it for me, but I don't feel like I should have to work that hard to understand where a protagonist is coming from and to find any shred of them to enjoy reading about. It was just too much work for not a lot of payoff. I really hope that The Crown is a satisfying conclusion, because I would really hate to end the selection series as a whole on such a negative note. So here's hoping that Edelyn develops and does not suck so much in the next book. Alright guys, that is it for my talk/review on the Heir. Thank you for watching, for sticking around for all of my angry ranting. I swear I didn't hate the book, I just hated Edelyn. So Anyways, thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye!